This non-cast-off figure was a spur-of-the-moment pre-order, since we love the infusion of fashion into the anime girl genre. It also helps that this is based off of an illustration by Saitama, of course. This is Lufia in 1/7 scale made by Max Factory. I haven't bought a Max Factory figure for a long time now, so this is a good chance to see how they've progressed. She's around 22 centimeters long, and I feel that she's close to 1/6 more than 1/7 scale. Besides the base, she doesn't come with any other accessories. The base itself is nice though. The top is a luscious red carpet furry material, and the sides are printed with the Demon Fashion logo. It almost looks like a spinning pedestal, but of course it isn't. The beautiful hat is the first thing that catches my eye. The sculpting is natural and perfectly portrays the feeling that it is a puffy, maybe down-filled hat. The paint is fantastic too, with that nice silver sheen to it, almost like a light gunmetal metallic paint. It really gives a rich texture to the hat when the light strikes it. Her horns have very nicely painted accents, and the yellow paint gradation is perfect. Moving on to her hair, it's pretty good. It's not the most detailed I've seen, but I appreciate that the separate strands are modeled. But painting is a bit of a letdown. The dark blue to light blue transition is well done, but the shadows within each color seem to be lacking. It's especially apparent on the light blue tips. Her face looks good and captures Saitama's illustration well. She's supposed to be removing her glove using her mouth, and I'm happy to report that the glove part is very close to the mouth on the figure. It's not exactly there, but close enough. Again, I find my eyes are naturally drawn to that silver sheen all over her jacket. The fabric sculpting here is perfection. The detail is phenomenal. Look at all those folds all over the sleeves. Then check out that zipper detail along with that zipper pull. It's so well sculpted and painted that I feel like I could press it with my finger and it would give way like a real jacket would. Her arms are of course covered by the jacket, but her hands are still beautifully done, with long, slender, expressive, and sharp fingers. Those are hidden behind those red half gloves, which have good fabric fold detail, especially on the left one. But moving away from her jacket, her anatomical details are sublime too. Those collarbones are sharp as knives, and looking down a little bit more, we see her massive breasts, barely being contained by that black bikini. The sculpt of her breasts is perfect, conveying the weightiness of them. The squeeze of the bikini is causing some to spill out on the sides, and it is a beautiful sight. The bikini doesn't have much sculpted details on it, but Max Factory printed the pattern on the panels and it still looks great. The little bow looks good and falls toward her side in a realistic manner. Her abs area at first doesn't look like it has much detail, but the subtle detailing here works. The few lines convey a natural ab shape with some folds of skin or fat when you put yourself in a pose like this. And the sculpt just looks organic. It feels like a real person's body. Instead of just perfectly drawn curves, we see some natural bumps here and there. Of course, this organic sculpting continues through to her thighs and butt. I really like how the thigh is bulging out where the underwear is pulling against it. The small indentations around her knees add to the anatomical realism. Her calves have good shape, squeezed out slightly by the white socks, which actually have pretty good detail, especially at the ankle area. There's nice shading here too. Her shoes are one of the most detail I've seen on a figure. The tiny stitches are sculpted, and the different textures on the panels are sculpted too. That's pretty amazing. Max Factory even did different shades of red on the soles and the back. There's no way I could forget the most interesting part of the figure. We seem to have caught Lufia in the middle of taking off her underwear, which her nicely sculpted tail just covering the important bits. And no, the naughty bits are not sculpted. The underwear itself is in the same dark blue color as the bikini, and has some fabric detail sculpted, though it's really hard to tell since the color is so dark. The little medallion connected to the bow is amazingly done though. From afar, it almost looks like there are little crystals in it, but on closer inspection, it's just some nice sculpting combined with some really good silver painting. Overall skin tones are pretty good. It's redder than typical figures, but I think they could have gone a little bit redder still, based on what the illustration looks like. I'd also like more shadow painting in most areas. Oh, and the skin feels really smooth? Just different to usual non-treated bare areas. Maybe Max Factory put some sort of texture painting to it. We really didn't expect this figure to be this good, but the amazing sculpting coupled with the great painting is a delightful surprise. I love how the sculpt has that real organic feel to it, and the almost perfect replication of Saitom's illustration is the cherry on top. MSRP for this figure was just under 20,000 yen, and even though it's not a cast-off figure, I think it's a fair value for what we're getting here. So if you're a fan of Saitom's art, or just like fashion in your figures, give this one a try. You won't regret it.